Welcome to day 9 of our Hope series. So today's theme, play, I think is super important for us as a community. There can be so much serious stuff. We hear so much in the media, the stories can be pretty hard to bear sometimes around trans issues. But actually, we're not an issue. We're here, we're having fun with life. We are feeling alive. That's amazing. And sometimes it can feel really glorious. The euphoria, getting a haircut. There's so many beautiful moments that can be lost a little bit, I think. So today, the invitation is to really feel that joyfulness of play, of getting curious about how the body feels, and not taking anything too seriously. As long as you're safe, that's the main thing. We're going to play around with balances, because I think balances are a great way to feel playful, just kind of like how kids are, in a playground when kids are just like experimenting with whether they can do this or they can do that with their bodies. Can we find that again? Because I think that's an important part, well, it has been for me anyway, in my journey. I feel it's been an important part of discovering who I am, is kind of playing around with like different expressions of myself. So let's start by getting grounded. If you're on the seat, grounding through your sits bones. If we're standing, really feeling those roots through the feet. You might have your feet on blocks or books if you're seated. And an option to hold on to something, maybe the wall or the chair. And we're going to come into that little warm up. We'll bring the leg up, out, and around. Opening up through the hip. Lovely. And then drawing it up and taking some ankle circles here, coming into the knee. Super. Maybe you challenge your balance, maybe you let go, giving it a little hug here, maybe bring it out to the side. We could come to find that mudra, the index finger and thumb back to center, and releasing. Just notice the difference between left and right side. Then we'll come in onto the other side. Drawing the knee up, sending it out and around. Taking it as slow as you like. So you're either holding on, maybe a hand on the hip, knowing that you've got the option to come off the mat if that feels too much on if you're on carpet. Bringing the knee up, coming to those ankle circles. Always hold behind the thigh if it doesn't feel good to hold there. Woo! Lovely. And then a bit of a mobilization through the knee. Super. Hugging it in. Maybe we start to play around. I'm feeling much less balance on this side. Drawing it back through center. And releasing. Did you find it different on one side to the other? Sometimes it's completely different. So we're going to play around with Warrior 3, which is a balance pose. So it might be that we use a chair, for example. We could hold on to the back of a chair. And then we'll just ground through one foot and see what it feels like to start lifting the other leg up and behind. Maybe we want to come in and out of it. We could be here. We don't have to be static. Seeing if you can find those roots through the standing foot, that sense of rooting to rise, so we're not sinking into that standing leg, we're also not locking it, got a little micro bend. And then coming back down. Nice one. Again, notice how it felt. This whole idea of getting curious about how things feel in our bodies. If we've had some quite difficult experiences, we can sometimes feel a bit disconnected with our body. Sometimes it's tricky with yoga because yoga is inviting us back into the body. And if that hasn't felt safe for us, that can not always feel comfortable. And I hear you. I would say just listen to your body, and if you need to stop, that's totally cool. But the invitation today is to see if we can just find a fun kind of relationship with our body, just seeing what it can do. There's really no goal. So again, on the other side, let's lift it up, knowing that we can come in and out of it if we want, or maybe we're lifting all the way up. Oh, I've got a little foot tickle from a plant. And finding that grounding through the standing foot. watching out for what's around you. If you've got plants, pets, electricals, taking care. Coming back out when you're ready. Nice. So you might want to continue playing with the chair like that, or maybe you're even playing with the wall. Could be that you're playing around here, for example. Maybe you want to come to the mat and play around with blocks. So one thing to think about, well, there's lots to think about. We're thinking about the standing leg, rooting to rise. The other thing to think about is this hip that's lifted. We'll want to kind of open up into the air. Let's see if we can invite it down so the hips stay a bit more even. So I'll try and show you now like what I mean. So if you just take a look, when I come up into my warrior three, the tendency is for it to open out to the side, but we're going to try and keep it even, so I'm inviting it down so the hips are a bit more level. Do you see what I mean? This kind of opening compared to level hips. So, taking hold of your blocks or 2 stacks of books, if that's better. And then we're going to find just a little lift first, up and down. So it might be that you just play around here. Maybe that feels fun in itself and you want to stay here. Or maybe you want to take flight and lift that leg up. See if you can invite that lifted hip down a little bit so they've got even hips. Nice. Finding that connection to core, connection to center. One more inhale. And then lowering the leg gently. Gentle landing. Woo! Coming on up. I just think bounces are a fun thing to do. I bet as kids we do all sorts. I can't remember particularly, but I wonder if you've got any memories of kind of like trying to throw yourself up a wall or something when you were younger. Let's come on to the other leg. So feel free to carry on playing with the wall or the chair. Just do what's right for you. And maybe we're here with some kind of support. We start lifting up that back leg, maybe lifting and lowering. And when you're ready, if you want to, taking flight, using that core, staying with the breath, rooting to rise, not locking that standing leg, micro bend but not sinking into it. Seeing if we can invite that lifted hip to be parallel but still finding the joy, the fun, not taking it too seriously. Any wobbles are very welcome as long as you're safe. One more inhale and releasing. Nice one. So, option to stay with that. You can play around again or take a rest, have a breather. Pause the video if you want and come back later. So, if you want to, for those who fancy a little challenge, we might see what it feels like without the blocks. And if we fall, it's all good as long as you're safe. Just having a little giggle and getting back into it. So we'll bring the hands to the hips, sorry. Finding that little lift and lower. And then when you're ready, maybe we start to come over. And option to bring the hands to prayer, maybe, or perhaps even to airplane arms. Have a play around, see what feels comfortable. Woo! And then if you fall, just take your time to come back into it. Nice. Ooh, I'm feeling that on the standing leg. I can really feel that. It feels good, strong. All right, other side. So, just check your surrounding area. I feel like I've got more peril with the plants here. I do fear for their safety. So, see how it feels to start hinging at the hips. Maybe play around with the arms, the hand position. Option for prayer hands or airplane arms. Remembering you can always come in and out And just finding that playful attitude. If you're falling, it probably means you're pushing yourself to your edge, which is great. Playing with that edge. And then coming on out of it. Oh, let's shake that off. Whew. Nice one. So there's really no destination with any of this. There's no destination with each pose, and there's no destination with this journey. We are just here to explore and to see what it feels like to be in our bodies and to enjoy being in our bodies and giving permission to ourselves to enjoy our brilliant bodies. Thank you so much for being here.